Welcome to our fourth video on terminal aerodrome forecasts. We're still working our way through the elements of TAFs, and we are currently on forecast change indicators. So forecast change indicators are at the beginning of each time group, and they indicate how the weather is changing. There are three different types of change indicators. The first one that we'll look at is from. And from is used to indicate that there's a change to prevailing conditions. Prevailing meaning that these are the weather conditions that are expected to occur for the majority of the time period. And it's usually assumed when you use the from indicator that the change from one set of prevailing conditions to the next occurs in less than 1 hour. The from indicator uses 6 digits to indicate the time that they expect the change to occur. The first 2 numbers gives you the date. The next 4 numbers gives you the time in hours and minutes. And when you see the from indicator after that, that tells you those are the prevailing conditions that are expected to occur after that time. So the from indicator tells you when there's a change in the weather. And the beginning time, of course, the first 4 numbers indicates the date and time that the weather or the temporary fluctuations are expected to start. And then the slash and after the slash indicates the time when the temporary fluctuations are expected to end. So in this case, there is a 3-hour period from the 16th day at 1 Zulu to the 16th day at 4 Zulu. 3 hours. During those 3 hours, they expect the weather conditions perhaps to go down to 1 1/2 statute miles visibility with light snow and broken clouds at 1,200. Now notice that this is during the same period as the prevailing conditions. Prevailing conditions go from 1Z on the 16th to 4Z on the 16th. So during that time period, they expect mostly the weather conditions to be broken at 4,000 with visibilities better than 6 miles. However, there are times when less than 1 hour at a time, they expect the visibility to drop down to 1.5 miles and light snow with broken clouds at 1,200. Now remember also that they expect those weather conditions not to occur for more than 1/2 of that time period. So from 1 to 4 Zulu, that's 3 hours. So they expect the weather conditions to come down to those poorer weather conditions for less than 1 1/2 hours cumulative during that time period. Forecasters are not allowed to use the tempo group for more than 4 hours. You can't have a 6 or 12-hour tempo group. For that matter, you can't have a 24-hour tempo group. That doesn't make sense. They want to make sure that the forecast is precise and the meteorologist is not covering their butt with the tempo group, so they limit it to only 4 hours to indicate that there's only going to be slight changes to the forecast. And then the tempo group only includes weather elements that are changing. Whatever is not included in the tempo group means that you carry the previous weather conditions from the prevailing conditions. Those are what are expected to exist. In this case, you don't see a change in the wind in the tempo group. So that means that the wind is carried into the tempo group, that case being 140 at 7 knots. The change indicators, tempo and from, indicate that the forecasters think the probability of that weather occurring is better than 50%. If it's less than 50%, the only change indicator that they can use is a Prob 30. And a Prob 30 indicates a very low probability of the occurrence of thunderstorms or precipitation. Typically, you see this a lot during the summertime with thunderstorms. But the Prob 30 can't be used in the very beginning of the forecast. Usually, Prob 30 is used at the end of the forecast to indicate that there is a slight chance of something occurring. Of course, as the name implies, Prob 30 means that there is a 30% chance of occurrence of that weather phenomena. Prob 30 times are given following, of course, the Prob 30. And it's used, or it's indicated very similar to the tempo group, where they give you 4 numbers and then a slash and another 4 numbers. The first 4 numbers are the date and time that they expect the Prob 30 to start, and then after that slash, the last 4 numbers when the Prob 30 expected to end. During that time period, that's when you'll see those fluctuations. And then, of course, there's the NSW, the no significant weather. And that is typically used at the end of the forecast, cannot be used in the first part of the forecast. Usually it's used to indicate that there's a change from significant weather, whether it be precipitation or obscurations, to no significant weather, meaning there's nothing really occurring. They'll include clouds and visibility, but there's just no precipitation or obscuration to vision. And that is your 4th video on TAFs. There's one more coming that deals with flight planning.